Welcome to English Time. In today's lesson, we will first listen to the conversation. After that, we will repeat each and every sentence for better improvement.
What do you use to cook dinner? What do you use to cook dinner?
I use pots and pans. I use pots and pans.
How do you bake a cake? How do you bake a cake?
I use an oven. I use an oven.
What do you use to clean the dishes? What do you use to clean the dishes?
I use dish soap and a sponge. I use dish soap and a sponge.
How do you vacuum the house? How do you vacuum the house?
I use a vacuum cleaner. I use a vacuum cleaner.
What do you use to take out the trash? What do you use to take out the trash?
I use a trash bag. I use a trash bag.
How do you water the plants? How do you water the plants?
I use a watering can. I use a watering can.
What do you use to mow the lawn? What do you use to mow the lawn?
I use a lawnmower. I use a lawnmower.
How do you wash your car? How do you wash your car?
I use car wash soap and a sponge. I use car wash soap and a sponge.
What do you use to fix a leaky faucet? What do you use to fix a leaky faucet?
I use a wrench and plumber's tape. I use a wrench and plumber's tape.
How do you change a light bulb? How do you change a light bulb?
I use a stepladder. I use a stepladder.
What do you use to organize your clothes? What do you use to organize your clothes?
I use hangers and drawers. I use hangers and drawers.
How do you iron your clothes? How do you iron your clothes?
I use an iron and ironing board. I use an iron and ironing board.
What do you use to read a book? What do you use to read a book?
I use a reading lamp. I use a reading lamp.
How do you listen to audiobooks? How do you listen to audiobooks?
I use a smartphone or MP3 player. I use a smartphone or MP3 player.
What do you use to write in a journal? What do you use to write in a journal?
I use a pen and notebook. I use a pen and notebook.
How do you brush your pet's fur? How do you brush your pet's fur?
I use a pet brush. I use a pet brush.
What do you use to feed your pet? What do you use to feed your pet?
I use a pet bowl. I use a pet bowl.
How do you clean your pet's cage? How do you clean your pet's cage?
I use a cage cleaner and paper towels. I use a cage cleaner and paper towels.
What do you use to take your dog for a walk? What do you use to take your dog for a walk?
I use a leash and collar. I use a leash and collar.
How do you secure your home at night? How do you secure your home at night?
I use door locks and an alarm system. I use door locks and an alarm system.
What do you use to set the table? What do you use to set the table?
I use plates, utensils, and napkins. I use plates, utensils, and napkins.
How do you grill food outdoors? How do you grill food outdoors?
I use a barbecue grill. I use a barbecue grill.
What do you use to pack a lunch? What do you use to pack a lunch?
I use a lunchbox or container. I use a lunchbox or container.
How do you protect your eyes from the sun? How do you protect your eyes from the sun?
I use sunglasses. I use sunglasses.
What do you use to apply sunscreen? What do you use to apply sunscreen?
I use sunscreen lotion. I use sunscreen lotion.
How do you stay cool on a hot day? How do you stay cool on a hot day?
I use a fan or air conditioner. I use a fan or air conditioner.
What do you use to start a campfire? What do you use to start a campfire?
I use matches or a lighter. I use matches or a lighter.
How do you roast marshmallows? How do you roast marshmallows?
I use a skewer or stick. I use a skewer or stick.
What do you use to set up a tent? What do you use to set up a tent?
I use tent poles and stakes. I use tent poles and stakes.
How do you navigate while hiking? How do you navigate while hiking?
I use a map and compass or a GPS device. I use a map and compass or a GPS device.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. Hit the bell icon to stay notified. See you in the next one.